Hello everybody, how y'all doing on this wonderful Tuesday? As you can tell from the title and probably the thumbnail, today is kind of a little bit of a weird experiment involving a couple of incredible YouTubers. A few incredible YouTubers, actually. We're going to be doing a Bengals style rebuild where we try to do everything that we can to win a Super Bowl within a few seasons. But we are going to do it with the Mr. Hurricane draft classes which were created by Blackjack. So, I will have all their channels linked in the description below. Go there if you, for some reason, don't know who they are, as we are starting out making some trades for first-round draft picks, which we are going to need to draft some of these incredible players that Blackjack has put in these draft classes for great YouTubers such as Mr. Hurricane, who has been one of my extreme influences since I started my YouTube career. So this is very much a video tribute to guys like Mr. Hurricane and Bengal, who I pretty much started my entire career by watching them, and of course Blackjack as well, who is very thorough in a lot of the things that he does here on YouTube. Success in season number 1 as we try to tank like the real-life Miami Dolphins, and except we aren't like the real-life Miami Dolphins, we actually succeed at tanking. We go 2-14, so we will be picking up the first overall pick regardless, as well as all the other first-round draft picks that we made a trade for. So this draft class will be instrumental in moving us further along. Just taking a look at some of the awards: Drew Brees wins MVP, Pat Mahomes wins Offensive Player of the Year, Miles Jack Defensive Player of the Year. In the NFC, Gruger Hill wins Defensive Player of the Year, and Dak Prescott Offensive Player of the Year. So just a quick little recap there. We go into free agency and we sign Chris Jones, who I feel like, you know, the Dolphins would have went after if he didn't get the franchise tag from Kansas City. Fuller, Eckler, and John Simon also coming to the squad. Fun fact, Austin Eckler rated me on Twitch, which was freaking awesome. So, of course, I had to go ahead and pick up Austin Eckler in a series. I've wanted to do that for a little while. And if you guys aren't following my Twitch, there will be a link on the screen now. When you're done with this video, make sure you go over and drop a follow. I stream there a lot during the week, including running a sim league on Madden 20. So if you're interested in this, you'll probably be interested in that. Our first overall pick, none other than SEAHAWKS. As far as what we were going to do with our other picks, Austin Bordelon, I feel like could be a really good target for SEAHAWKS, especially in his younger career. Yeah, we have Mike Gesicki, but why not have 2 tight ends for him to throw the ball to? Young quarterbacks like to lean on tight ends, and Austin Bordelon, none better than him to lean on. Sean Hurley, a cornerstone defensive player. You need that quarterback of the defense, and I feel like Sean Hurley could end up being that in this series. Well, not series, but, you know, in this video. And Sean Hurley, definitely a guy I wanted to bring into this Miami Dolphin team. Now, Ramon Locker, another guy I feel could be really good for us, and I wanted to go ahead and get him. Also, a note, no Byron Jones on this Dolphin team, because he did not reach free agency, which is why we got Chris Jones. So we needed to get another Jones. We got the big-time pass rusher. But that being said, that doesn't mean we can't take another future big-time pass rusher in Kalispell star Marion Triplett. Definitely had to bring him in. I feel like he could grow on our defensive line. A couple of our later picks were offensive line help, as that is something that the Miami Dolphins definitely need. Max Purcell I wanted to bring in, as well as Jason McKee out of Wyoming. So a couple of those were our late round picks. We went ahead, and since a lot of the guys were off of our draft board at this time, we went ahead and traded a lot of the later round picks away. But we do get Lindsey Muldrow as a late 7th round projection. He had 2nd round true talent, ranked number 53 in the class. I had to go ahead and add him to this team. Definitely something I wanted to do. We made some more trades. Albert Wilson netted us a future 1st round pick, which we definitely wanted to pick up as we look forward to the 2nd draft in this video. Isaiah Ford gave us a 3rd round pick, and I thought that that was good value for us, so I went ahead and took that as well. And in that 2nd season, simulating through, you can see the Steelers were pretty bad. The Titans were pretty bad. We went 6-10, so a little bit of an improvement from our 2-14 season. Still not quite a team that is ready to compete, but I feel like after this offseason coming up, we definitely could be ready to compete. So hopefully we make the right moves necessary. As we take a look at some of the stats, SEAHAWKS, 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, 12 picks in his rookie season. Not terrible. Austin Eckler, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. So there you go, Big Eck, my boy. Only 2 fumbles on the year. Trent Taylor led us in receiving yards with 897 and 6 touchdowns. Bordelon was up there, though, with 813. He only had 2 touchdowns, though. Devontae Parker, his production has not been high through his entire career, really. So kind of disappointed in what he brought to the table. If we look at the offensive lineman, Lindsey Muldrow, the worst one, but everyone else did a pretty good to great job. Looking at defense, Raekwon McMillan led us in tackles. Jerome Baker did a nice job tackling as well. 13.5 sacks from Chris Jones, so I really like that signing. The John Simon signing worked out as well, as he got 10 sacks. Interceptions were a little bit low on this squad, so we'll have to see what we can do about that moving forward. The MVP was Ryan Tannehill. Talk about slapping me in the fucking face as a Dolphins fan. Jermaine Pratt wins Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Dak Prescott for a second year in a row in the NFC, and Defensive Player of the Year to Roquan Smith in the NFC. The Houston Texans, what the fuck am I talking about? The Houston Texans win the Super Bowl 21-14 over the Carolina Panthers. Aaron Jones signs with us for a good price. Mike Pouncey signs back with us. And Danny Bayless at punter. We just needed a punter at the time. So now we're going to go ahead and make some more trades. We trade away Davis, a 32nd overall pick. We end up getting the 1st overall pick. Josh Rosen will net us the 4th overall pick as long as we give away 28 with him. And I'm fine with doing that, as now we can bring in Chase Mosley, who will hopefully be our anchoring left tackle in this video. Unfortunately, only normal development, but number 4 talent, drafted at number 1. I'm not entirely upset about this. There isn't really a bad thing about him, so hopefully he can anchor that offensive line. Then we go for Landon Shanky from BYU, number 6 in true talent, drafted at number 4. He does have the hidden dev. He is fast, and he can definitely be that speedy edge rusher that we look for. Norman Proctor at center later on in the first round here at 7. He's an early first talent. He's number 2 in true talent, so we draft him at 7. The power center, he definitely fits what we want to do here. 89 strength, you got to love that he brings that to the table, and he's a very good run blocker. Then we have Michael Alexander. We're going to go ahead and grab him at number 16. He's number 8 in true talent, definitely beefing up the offensive line in this video, as that is what the Miami Dolphins have failed to do to this point. Hopefully with this NFL draft that has gone on, they have picked some guys that are good, as I am recording this before the draft goes on. Trevor McGraw, the 72 overall, will be a later first-round pick for us. And then drafting at 39, Shaquille Davis at number 39. We get the 36 ranked player. Harvey DeVoe would be a later pick for us. We take him at 64, late second, and he's ranked 55. Just a lot of depth on the offensive line for us, just trying to see who will come up and be those starting 5, because the offensive line has been holding this team back for years, and we just need to make sure that we do something about it. Tremaine Orr, we take him because he's super fast, and he is pretty damn fast. So I'm not upset with the pick. We needed another wideout. We make some trades. Alan Hearns and Kalen Ballage net us a first-round pick. And we are going to definitely use that to draft some players. Mike Gesicki, we no longer need. He's in a contract year, and we have Austin Bordelon. He will net us a first-round pick, trading a 5th and a 6th with him. So that next season, as we've made some additions to the squad, what did it do for us? Made us 8-7-1. So again, steady improvement with this team, not being super unrealistic. We are being unrealistic, but not like crazy wild with the trades and whatnot. But we will do that in the future, don't worry. We'll get there. We'll get there. As the NFC West has 3 playoff teams, Jesse Heikkinen goes to 28 touchdowns and 14 picks. So a little bit more picks, a little bit more touchdowns, just trying to up his production. Aaron Jones doesn't make 1,000 yards. Austin Eckler cuts into his carries a little bit more than he did last year. Devontae Parker finally over 1,000 yards, as he should be doing every single freaking year in this game, but he did not do it until now. Looking at the offensive line, you can see everybody got a little bit better here when we start some new players. Sean Hurley leads us in tackles this season. Good to see, but he didn't get 100. That I don't really like. And our leading sack man was Chris Jones with 4.5, so not exactly the greatest total. 4 picks for Fuller, 3 for Hurley. I like seeing that from Hurley. MVP is Sean Bohannon, who went to the Bears. Baker Mayfield, Offensive Player of the Year. CJ Mosley, Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year in the NFC is Khalil Mack, and Zeke Elliott, Offensive Player of the Year. You can see the Seahawks beat the Jets in the Super Bowl. The Jets, 19-17. So we will move into our third offseason. Of course, making some trades. Van Ginkel will net us a first-round pick in this draft, adding in a 4th and 5th round pick. I am happy with that. Bobby McCain, get off my squad. 14th overall pick. Well, 14th overall pick in this draft. No, next draft. My bad. I'm an idiot. We're in the 2022 draft right now. Eric Rowe will give us the 29th overall pick by throwing in a 6th, and that's a steal for me. As now we take a look at our offseason haul of Jones and Lutz. We needed some more special teams. Monte Nicholson, Markel Lee, Levante David, Jordan Whitehead, and Cedric Parry, who's a 23-year-old tackle. So I thought we could use him. Now, I made a big boo-boo in this draft, obviously, by not putting it in during Super Bowl week, so the combine numbers aren't there. Then again, when you do a blackjack draft class, the combine only helps so much because he tries to mess with you so much. So I went with what I kind of figured. Carl Joyce, of course, the Kalispell star receiver. We went ahead and grabbed him. I just grabbed some guys I figured would be good. And also at 18 overall, Brandon Warren was still sitting there, and I just couldn't let him sit there. So we are going to take the hidden development. We know he's a superstar. Quarterback from Kalispell, the 91 speed quarterback. There's no way I could let him just sit there. Cliff McKeon out of Texas A&M was a hidden development wide receiver. And, you know, like Kane does with running backs, I tend to do with receivers. I'm always looking for them. Mario Townsend, the Kalispell star. We will bring him in as well. A 70 overall hidden development linebacker. We can always use more linebacking here. So that's probably our worst draft so far, honestly, and it wasn't even that bad. So let's see what it brought us to. 10-6. We are improving. Improving. And you'd love to see it. We finally make it to the playoffs. We'll host a playoff game in the wild card round. The Falcons go 0-16. That sucks for them. So we move along. Let's see the stats. Jesse Heikkinen goes to 35-9. His best season to date. Aaron Jones back over 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns. You'll love to see that. Austin Eckler doing a great job spelling. Trent Taylor over 1,000 yards again with 10 touchdowns. How he's doing better than Devontae Parker, I don't know. DVP should be killing it, and he's not. 12 sacks given up by Mosley. I don't like seeing that, but he should improve some. Sean Hurley over 100 tackles with 1.5 sacks. Raekwon McMillan had 4.5 sacks. That's cool to see. Jones back up to 12.5 sacks. Shanky had 8. 7.5 for McMillan. So we sacked the quarterback a good amount. 6 picks there for Fuller. Fuller's done a very nice job since we signed him. Josh Allen wins MVP. We had no consideration there. Offensive Player of the Year is Josh Allen. Heikkinen was up there, though. Myles Garrett for the Browns is Defensive Player of the Year. Zeke Elliott again for Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC, and Khalil Mack again for Defensive Player of the Year in the NFC. Looking at the wildcard matchups, 28-6 Chiefs over the Bills, 36-29 Saints over the Panthers, Browns over the Dolphins, 38-20. Fuck. And Minnesota winning over Dallas in the divisional, Colts over the Chiefs, Seahawks over the Saints, and the Browns upsetting the Ravens. The Browns then went on to upset the Colts in the conference title. Seahawks over the Vikings, and the Browns will take on the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. What a freaking surprise. The Browns win the Super Bowl. They are Madden's darlings this year, and they have to win at least one Super Bowl in the first 4. Devontae Parker, with his production, is going to be traded away, as well as Jakeem Grant, who somehow netted us a first-round pick by throwing in a third. I'm fine with this. I love Jakeem Grant, but it's time. McKee, who we drafted earlier, he will net us a first-round pick, as well as this is going to be the last draft, so we have to make our last hurrah. We have to do everything we can. Wilkins now will net us the 2nd overall pick, which we are going to need in this draft. And the 1st overall pick is gotten from the Atlanta Falcons, who went 0-16. We end up giving them the 21st pick, Markel Lee in a 3rd. And that will give us something we have set ourselves up to need, which is strong safety Jamari Akinjide out of Kalispell. We needed him. We got him. He's a 93 speed. He was going to be our starting strong safety all along. And then with the 2nd pick, Jamie Alexander II will be our free safety. So 2 fast safeties back there who can cover, who can play. Love to see that. He has nothing wrong with him. And that will bring us to the 14th overall selection, where we will take edge rusher Eric Palmer. Nice speed rusher. Love what he can maybe bring to the table in a little bit of rotation. Hopefully, I don't really know how it works in simulation, what the computer actually tries to do, but good guy that we could bring in. There's nothing really wrong with him except power moves, and I'm fine with it. Brian Peters now we will go ahead and take with the 19th overall selection. He ends up being a 72 overall hidden development. We can use more linebackers as we try to make this the Super Bowl winning team. We've already gone through 4 of Blackjack's draft classes for Mr. Hurricane, so this is going to be the one. This is it. We've got to win this. LaDante Ellis, the center, coming out of Akron, a 71 overall. He is nice. Nothing wrong with this guy at all. Love seeing what he brings to the table. And then, of course, like I said, I am to receivers as Kane is to halfbacks. Trill Diamond. I'm always looking for receivers. He can catch the ball. He has enough speed. He's got a lot of moves on him, too. He might not be the best overall, but he's a guy that can maybe work out for us. Desmond Shelby. He can work out, too, as a hidden development outside linebacker. We could always use more linebacking. We'll trade away Vinny Taylor for Greedy Williams, straight up somehow, and I'm happy with that. Then we trade away Trent Taylor, who's been probably our best receiver, but we get defensive tackle Brewer, who is actually 24 years old and a superstar, I think. Peters, we're going to trade away. We just drafted him. But we're going to get wide receiver Jennings, who is a superstar receiver. Had to bring him along. We get Ayers at receiver as well. We had to bring in Froholt because they couldn't afford the contract, so we had to trade Davis, a 1st, and a 4th. I'm okay with trading firsts already because we're not going to be drafting anymore. Centarius Phillips, remember how Kane traded for him? Well, we did too. We gave away DeVoe, who we got in the first draft. Greedy Williams ends up getting flipped for the 4th overall projected pick of 2014 or 2024. And then Kelly and Parry are going to go. A couple backups will get flipped for a running back who I had planned on playing but didn't really do it. And then Chris Harris Jr., who we signed in free agency, is going to flip over to the Steelers for Connor Williams. Then we have Long Jr. at corner. We're going to flip him to the Chiefs for Mitchell Schwartz, trying to beef up this offensive line going into the last season of the year. So this is what the roster is going to look like. Our final hurrah roster. As we take a look, the starters are the same at quarterback and halfback. We bring in 3 new receivers to go with Joyce and McKeon. So I don't think Joyce and McKeon are really going to do anything. Bordelon, of course, our starting tight end. Our starting offensive linemen now are looking pretty darn good. We got LaDante Ellis. Alexander will back up almost everywhere with Mitchell Schwartz starting at right tackle. Shanky, Triplett, Chris Jones. We got Raekwon McMillan starting at left outside linebacker, Hurley in the middle, Trevor McGraw on the right side, Fuller, Xavier Howard, and Locker as the three corners, Alexander at free safety, and Akinjide at strong safety with Will Lutz and Chris Jones, the special teamers. What did we do? We'll see. The Browns, of course, have to make the playoffs regardless of what their record is, so they're there. Texans, 14-2. Titans are 13-3, but so are we. Look at the points scored, 485 points. You gotta love to see that, as we've built probably the best team we had in this entire video. So, good to see that we continually improved in this video, regardless of if we win the Super Bowl or not. But we have ourselves a chance. But we're probably only the second or third best team in the AFC right now. Deshaun Watson wins MVP. Heikkinen was up there and in consideration. For Offensive Player of the Year, it's Watson. Heikkinen, again, in consideration there. Defensive Player of the Year, Grugier Hill gets another one. And Hurley was in consideration. Rookie goes to Walker on offense, but Akinjide and Alexander are 1-2 in Defensive Rookie of the Year. Heikkinen, number 2 in Best Quarterback. Best Receiver, Centarius Phillips was number 3 there, so good to see. Mitchell Schwartz gets number 2 for O-line. D-line, Triplett and Jones are 4-5. Linebacker, Hurley's number 4. DB, Kendall Fuller wins it. And kicker, Will Lutz is in 4th for Best Kicker. Looking at the stats, Jesse Heikkinen, almost 4,400 yards, 38 touchdowns, 10 picks, so a good season for him. Aaron Jones, 1,200 yards, 1,269, nice, wink wink, and 8 touchdowns. Jaquan Jennings with 996 and 6 touchdowns. Bordelon, 889 and 8. Centarius Phillips, very nice, 15 TDs. That's why he was in consideration for Best Receiver. No lineman gave up more than 7 sacks. That's good to see as well. Sean Hurley ups his tackle total to 115. He had 6 sacks and a pick. 12 sacks for Chris Jones, 9 for Triplett, 7.5 for Shanky, and 6 for Hurley is a good getting after the quarterback total. 5 picks for Kendall Fuller. And our leading force fumbler, a lot of people only had 1. We didn't really do a good job on fumbling this year. Only 1 recovery, and it's Akinjide. So, not really that good to see. We did block 3 kicks, though, so that's nice. We got a safety from Demps. That's cool to see. But the question is, can we win the Super Bowl? We'll see. We have the best offense by almost 500 yards in the entire league. We have the most points per game in this entire league. The thing is, with the defense, I don't know. Our defense is relatively middling. We have a pretty poor pass defense, and we have a very middle-of-the-rung defense. So, we have a very good rushing defense. So, if teams are trying to run against us, we should beat them. But if teams are trying to pass against us, they might beat us. The Jets upset the Chiefs in the wild card round. Packers upset the Cowboys. The Titans will win the Browns, but you can't call it an upset. And the Rams upset the Seahawks. The Jets then upset the Texans, taking out the 1 seed. Vikings win, we win, and the Rams upset the Panthers. That brings us into the AFC title game, as we beat the Titans here 21-13. We'll take a look at the box score. Heikkinen, 223 and 3 touchdowns. Heikkinen played well. Our rushing game really wasn't there. But Ayers with a touchdown, Centarius Phillips with a touchdown, Bordelon had a nice yardage total. So we did what we had to do. Jayon Brown was all over the field for the Titan defense, and he needed to be. Raekwon McMillan had 2 sacks on the day, so did Jacoby Demps. That's cool to see. So we'll see what ends up happening. In the AFC title game, we lose to the freaking Jets. You know the Jets were 8-8, right? You know they were 8-8. The Jets were not even good. Somehow they upset not only the number 1 seeded Texans, but us as the number 2 seed. And it is a classic Jets-Dolphins game. Classic. 20 points in the 4th for them, 12 for us. Jesse Heikkinen, 5 touchdowns, 87% completion, and a perfect passer rating, and he gets taken out of the playoffs with that. Told you it was going to be our defense. If anything, it was going to be our defense, and it wasn't them rushing the football, so it was definitely them throwing the football. Centarius Phillips, 111 and a touchdown. Jennings with a touchdown. Bordelon did okay. David Sills somehow got a touchdown. Raekwon McMillan with 12 tackles and a half a sack. Triplett had a sack in the game. Cool to see that. Nobody threw a pick in this one. We could not make the turnover But the Jets do end up getting what was coming to them. They lose the Super Bowl. The Minnesota Vikings win their first Super Bowl ever. How fitting does it sound that a video basically about Mr. Hurricane's draft classes would end in Mr. Hurricane's favorite team winning the Super Bowl? And Scooby Blaylock got it done for them. A created guy from Blackjack. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that the video ends this way. Sucks as a Dolphins fan to lose to the Jets in the AFC title game, but at least they lost the Super Bowl to Kane's Vikings. So for that, I'm very happy. I hope you guys did enjoy this video in some way as the Vikings win 21-17. If you did, please go ahead and drop a like on this video, as well as subscribe if you're brand new to the channel and you want to see some more Madden 20 content. Stick with us here, and we could build a winner together. Take care, everybody.
I feel you somehow.